Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, perhaps the most famous rock duo of all time. They played and recorded music for decades from 1953 right up until Art Garfunkel's vocal issues began in 2010. I could talk for hours on their music career, however today I wanted to specifically talk about that night in Central Park, New York City, where they played to a crowd of over 500,000. We begin in 1970. At the end of the recording of the studio album Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon had grown tired of the band and wanted out. With some urging from his wife, he eventually made the call and ended the double act. Going into the 1980s, the two weren't enjoying a profitable time apart. Both were struggling as separate solo artists, never truly recapturing their former glory. In the summer of '81, a plan was devised as part of New York's fundraising campaign to restore and maintain Central Park.
I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound.
Ron Delsener, a prominent New York concert promoter, pitched the idea of a reunion for the group, played in front of a huge open crowd in Central Park with no admission fee needed. Simon was initially unsure. He hadn't spoken to Garfunkel regularly in years, having gone separate ways due to their initial creative differences. Upon phoning him, Garfunkel was actually a huge fan of the idea and returned from his holiday in Switzerland to rehearse. Planning and rehearsals for the concert took about 3 weeks in a Manhattan theatre. Rehearsals were largely the same as Simon had remembered, and him and Garfunkel fought many times during the brief 3-week period. An early concept was for each singer to give a solo performance, with Simon allotted the greater amount of time, and then it would conclude with the duo performing their joint works. This idea was rejected as, according to Garfunkel, it didn't seem right for either of them that Paul should be the opening act for Simon and Garfunkel. The two's creative differences didn't stop there. Garfunkel was very much a traditionalist and wanted the concert to play out how it would have in the 60s, using only their voices backed by Simon's acoustic guitar. Simon was unable to do this, however, due to a previous injury he suffered, rendering unable to play the guitar for that amount of time. Garfunkel did have some issues in rehearsal, as he wasn't happy that Simon had rewritten some of their previous material, alongside having to learn some of Simon's new songs for the concert. News reports and the Michael Dorrit designed posters of the Central Park show named the musicians individually, and didn't bill them as Simon and Garfunkel. The news reports didn't bill them together either, so no one knew that the two singers would be on stage together until a week before the concert was published in a New York newspaper. After all the prep was done, all that was left to do was perform.
Homeward bound, home, where my thoughts escaping, home, where my music's playing, home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Homeward bound, I wish I was. Oh, homeward bound, now, home, where my thoughts escaping, home, where my music's playing, home, where my love lies waiting silently for me.
An estimated 500,000 people showed up to the concert in Central Park through the wind and the rain and sat to watch what is one of the most unbelievable musical feats in history. The concert raised $51,000 for Central Park, and the pair played their classics ranging from Mrs. Robinson to The Boxer, and then closed their encore with what some might say may be their greatest song, The Sound of Silence. After the concert, Art Garfunkel was disappointed with his performance, citing that he thought his singing was poor. Nonetheless, the concert was a huge success and garnered a live album which peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200 chart. The pair then set off on a world tour together. Simon and Garfunkel would continue to perform together sporadically over the next several years. However, whilst performing together, their ongoing creative feud would prove too much for either. They grew apart over the course of time, and as of 2015, Garfunkel was quoted in an interview in response to their initial breakup, stating, "How can you walk away from this lucky place on top of the world, Paul? What's going on with you?" I wanted to talk so much about this concert because it's one of my favourite live concerts of all time. I think overall the fact with the amount of people that were there in Central Park, coupled with the reunion of Simon and Garfunkel, one of my favourite double acts bands of all time. I think it's a scintillating watch, and I encourage everyone to go out there and watch it yourselves. I hope you enjoyed my brief overview of the concert, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
It's a little secret, it's just the Robinsons' affair. Most of all, you got to hide it from the kids who look at you. This is Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray.